Alright, let's talk about Elon Musk. A man whose ambitions range from putting computer chips in our brains to putting his foot in his mouth on a near-daily basis. As of June 8, 2025, it seems his latest project is not a car that drives itself into a fire hydrant, but rather a political party. That's right, on June 5th, Musk, in a moment of what I can only assume was extreme boredom or a desperate need for attention, posted a poll to his 220 million followers on X. He asked a simple question: is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? And because the internet is a chaotic place, over 5 million people voted with a staggering 80% saying yes, a result Musk dramatically declared was fate. Now, when most of us see a poll result we like, we might give it a little thumbs up and move on with our day. Musk, however, sees it as a divine mandate to upend the American political system. The very next day, he christened his hypothetical creation the America Party, a name so blandly patriotic it sounds like it was generated by an AI that was only fed images of bald eagles and flags. He even floated the name the Colonize Mars Party, which is honestly more on brand for a guy who seems to think the solution to all of Earth's problems is to simply leave it. This wasn't just a random thought bubble, it was a declaration of war, aimed squarely at the political establishment he had, until very recently, been a key part of. The core idea, according to Musk and his supporters, is to create a home for the politically homeless. A party for the supposed 80% of Americans who feel trapped between the two major parties, who are tired of the endless bickering and want something, anything, different. It's an appealing pitch, especially when you look at polls showing that a huge chunk of the country feels completely unrepresented. The promise is to destroy the swamp, not just give it a new property manager. The America Party aims to be a centrist force, pulling in moderates from both sides who are exhausted by the extreme wings of the Democratic and Republican parties. It's a noble, if ridiculously ambitious, goal. But let's be clear, this whole spectacle is less about a genuine grassroots movement, and more about one very wealthy man having a very public tantrum. The timing is, to put it mildly, suspicious. This grand vision for a new political utopia didn't emerge from a deep study of democratic theory. It was born from a spectacular and deeply personal feud with one Donald J. Trump. The America Party isn't just a political idea, it's a giant billion-dollar revenge fantasy playing out in real time on a social media platform that Musk himself owns. It's what happens when a man with infinite resources and zero impulse control decides to take his ball and start his own league. So how did we get here? How did Musk go from being one of Donald Trump's biggest cheerleaders to his #1 public enemy? Well, it's a story as old as time. Two powerful men with egos the size of Jupiter collided. Just a short while ago, Musk was Trump's largest donor in the 2024 election. But their beautiful transactional friendship hit a wall, specifically a wall called the Big Beautiful Bill, a piece of legislation that Musk publicly called an abomination. It seems even a bromance forged in political convenience has its limits, and for Musk, that limit was a bill he didn't like. This disagreement wasn't just a polite difference of opinion, it was the spark that lit the whole dumpster fire. The feud escalated with the speed and grace of a Tesla on autopilot. Musk didn't just disagree with Trump's policy, he went for the jugular. In a series of now-deleted posts on X, he endorsed Trump's impeachment and for good measure baselessly hinted that Trump was connected to Jeffrey Epstein's unreleased files. It was a stunningly aggressive move, turning a political disagreement into a deeply personal attack. This wasn't just burning a bridge, it was nuking the bridge from orbit, salting the earth where it once stood, and then posting a meme about it. The gloves were off, and it was clear this wasn't a fight they could just hug out. Naturally, Trump, a man who has never met an insult he wouldn't return with interest, fired back. He publicly stated that Musk was wearing thin, and claimed he had once asked him to leave the White House. He even refused to take a phone call from his former ally, which is the political equivalent of leaving someone on read. To add a bit of presidential flair, Trump threatened to review the federal subsidies that Musk's companies, like Tesla and SpaceX, have benefited from for years. It was a classic Trump power play attack personally, dismiss their influence and then go after their wallet. The message was clear: you don't cross me. As of today, June 8, 2025, the two are still not on speaking terms. Reports suggest that some people are desperately trying to mediate to patch things up between the billionaire and the former president. but the attacks have become so personal, so venomous, that a reconciliation seems about as likely as Musk admitting he was wrong about something. This isn't just politics anymore, it's a high-stakes, high-drama clash of personalities. The fallout from this feud isn't just a few angry posts online, it's the very foundation upon which the America Party is being built. It's a party born not of hope, but of pure, unadulterated spite. To truly understand this chaos, you have to look at Musk's bizarre political journey. It's been less of a straight line and more of a drunk man stumbling through a hedge maze. This is a man who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Joe Biden in 2020, positioning himself as a reasonable center-left tech guy. Then, he did a complete 180, throwing his support behind Republicans in the 2022 midterms. By 2024, he went all in, establishing the America PAC and pouring around $200 million into helping Donald Trump get re-elected. It was a whiplash-inducing transformation that left everyone wondering what his actual beliefs were, or if he even had any. His loyalty was rewarded. After the 2024 election, Trump appointed Musk to head the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, hilariously abbreviated as Doge, a nod to the meme cryptocurrency. Yes, really, the man who named his child something that sounds like a Wi-Fi password was put in charge of streamlining the entire US government. For a brief, shining moment, Musk was an insider, a key player in the Trump administration, tasked with cutting red tape and making things run more like one of his factories, presumably with impossible deadlines and a disregard for labor regulations. He had gone from a critic to a kingmaker to a cabinet member. But, as we've seen, that cozy relationship imploded spectacularly. His role as the head of Doge is now a distant memory, a footnote in his ever-expanding resume of weird career moves. His political spending in 2024, which totaled around $300 million, now looks less like a savvy investment and more like a very expensive mistake. He's now on the outside looking in, disowned by the very political machine he helped build. This history is crucial because it shows Musk isn't some political outsider coming to save the day. He's a jilted insider who got a taste of power, didn't like the way things were going, and decided to flip the whole table over. This isn't his first rodeo when it comes to using his money to influence politics, but it's certainly his most ambitious. He's not just writing checks anymore, he's threatening to become a political force in his own right. He has the money, the platform, and a massive following of people who hang on his every word, whether he's talking about rockets or political revolutions. His past shows he's willing to put his money where his mouth is, and now his mouth is saying he wants to start a whole new party. It's a move that's both completely shocking and, if you've been paying attention to his trajectory, entirely predictable. So, what happens now? Can the America Party actually become a real thing? Historically, third parties in America have the life expectancy of a snowman in July. They pop up, make a lot of noise, and then melt away, leaving behind little more than a puddle of wasted votes. The two-party system is a deeply entrenched beast, a calcified duopoly that has crushed every challenger that has come before. From Ross Perot to Ralph Nader, the story is always the same. They can't win, but they can play the role of the spoiler, siphoning off just enough votes to change the outcome of an election. And that, right there, is where Musk's party could have a massive impact, even if it never wins a single seat. With national elections often decided by razor-thin margins, a third party funded by a billionaire with a megaphone could be a wrecking ball. Political analysts are already looking ahead to the 2026 midterm elections. There are about 40 competitive House races and 7 competitive Senate races where a small shift in votes could tip the balance of power. If the America Party fields candidates in those key races and pulls even 5% of the vote, it could completely scramble the results, likely hurting the Republicans by splitting the right-leaning vote. The timing for such a movement couldn't be better. American voters are deeply disenchanted. Recent polls show that nearly 40% of people feel that neither the Democrats nor the Republicans represent them, and a whopping 70% are disappointed with the state of national politics. There's a huge pool of frustrated anti-system voters out there, particularly young men who were drawn to Trump's outsider appeal. Musk's party could be the perfect new home for them. With his vast fortune, analysts suggest spending just $3 billion, a fraction of his wealth, could have a huge effect. He could mobilize these voters and cause some serious disruption. Of course, there's a healthy dose of skepticism. Some political figures, like Republican Representative Jimmy Patronis, believe this is all just theater. They predict that Musk and Trump will eventually kiss and make up, and the America Party will fade away like a forgotten tweet. Launching a national political party is an incredibly difficult, expensive, and thankless task, but even if it's just a threat, it's a powerful one. Whether Musk follows through or not, he has already shown how one incredibly wealthy individual can hold the political system hostage. The question now is whether this is a genuine attempt to fix a broken system, or just the biggest, most expensive ego trip in American history. Either way, you should probably grab some popcorn.